how to land and counter push to rotate. Okay, on the line I've got my good buddy and partner on Milo Lines Golf, Ed Lasater, and we're going to talk about this subject tonight for this YouTube for all you guys. So both Ed and I have a background in athletics in general, and we've been noticing some things and using some concepts in our instruction to help people understand how to create rotation and how to turn their club into kind of a catapult system so they create lots of speed. So Ed, let's just kind of open this up a little bit and walk through this topic.
Been noticing recently is that when you get people to transition from their trail side to their lead side, quite often when they land left, they're not using their lead side correctly. And so what happens is that their hip gets on top of their knee and their hip goes straight up. Well, the only thing they can do then is go straight down and not create any rotation. So what we're finding, go ahead.
So let me just kind of walk through this, and you can tell me if this looks like what you're seeing. So they swing back, they fall to the left, and then they just push up like this.
When they do that, they cannot rotate. They can't rotate. They have to throw the hands at the ball. And then what we're finding most of the time is that when people land to the left, when they get up to the top and they go to land left, when they keep this arm up here, the knee actually is outside the hip. And this way, they can actually use the push away is not so much up or straight back. It's actually that direction to cause my upper body to rotate, because the upper body really is only going to rotate 15 or 20 degrees depending upon your mobility. You have to have a counter force to make you rotate, because no matter what you do, whether you're punching, when you land in the lead leg, you push the hip back to turn to punch. When you bat, you do the same thing. When you throw, you do the same thing. It's the way we create rotation in our human body. So if we're landing correctly and we're pushing away from the target, it actually creates that rotation, and you don't feel compelled to throw it with your hands.
So let me demonstrate with a baseball bat, because this is kind of a fun game for me. So if I'm going to make this bat go fast and get my body to turn, when I land with my front foot like this, I push back and around the corner like that. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Exactly what I'm talking about. And notice when he rotates like that, the speed is out front. The speed is not at the ball. The speed is out front.
Yes. Out here.
Which, by the way, is the same thing in your golf swing. Yeah, you just collect the ball, but you're still out front. I mean, if that were the case, you would have both arms completely extended, your chest pointed at the ball. But because the speed is out front, you have some side bend. Your right arm, right wrist are bent back a little bit. You're more open, and the speed is out here. So you've collected the ball, and it's out here. This is where the release happens, and both arms are extended, and it brings you into that nice finish.
Okay. So what we're talking about here, the push is actually kind of a circular push. So it's going in a circle like this to help this club catapult. Does that make sense?
Yes, exactly. So it's not so much that you're actually turning just in a complete round this direction either, right? It's not completely round this way, and it's not up and down this way. It's up and around, because we play on an angle. So we're always fighting the club head force. As that club head's moving that way, our pelvis is always moving the opposite direction, so we can continue to turn. That's why this hip has to turn that direction. It can't go up, and it can't just go straight back, because then you'll never turn.
Yeah, so it's kind of like have you ever seen one of those catapults, a trebuchet? How they have a big weight and that they can drop, and then that creates the rotation of everything else. So that's kind of what our body works like. It's like a big counterweight that slings the club around, and it works in an opposite force vector to the club. So the club's working down and out. At that point in time, we're pushing up and back, and so on. As the club gets out here, we're pushing away from it. And then once the club gets up here, then we can stand up and finishing that nice balanced finish.
100%. That's exactly what we do. And that's what we're finding to be the most successful. Getting people to get over here and get on top of that leg and then jump up and throw it. All that is hand and arm speed right here. And you only have so much. You would never throw a ball standing like this because you only have a very, very limited speed. You would always turn and push away to throw the ball. Always.
Awesome.
Awesome. So if we're going to boil this down, in order for me to get this golf club moving, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little bit of a trigger. So I create some motion to the forward foot and then away. And then that motion begins to move the golf club. And then the club works itself up to the top of my swing. And the club is kind of hovering for a second as I start to transition and unweight myself and fall back down. And now the club's coming down, down, down. So in order for me to get this club to accelerate where I want it to, I've got to now push, not up and back away. Is that what we're saying? Awesome.
That's correct. Exactly.
Cool. I think this explains this concept well enough for people to understand. Okay, so I hope everybody liked this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel. We love having you here, and we provide content weekly. And come over and visit us where you can see Ed, my man, on MiloLinesGolf.com, our academy where we coach you one-on-one.